So I was in the process of recording several videos, and then the batteries for the lavalier mic kind of died, and I thought that I didn't have any other batteries, but it turns out that I do. So now I'm back, but I'm back and I'm gonna be doing a different thing. Today, I am going to go buy more mangas. Because if you didn't know this about me, I am very geeky and I like reading books and buying mangas and watching anime and going to the movies and like playing video games, even though I have no video game console because I have no time for all of the hobbies that I want to have. But I really like reading and buying, collecting physical mangas. Even if it takes me an eternity to try to read them, I love having the physical copies of the mangas. I guess that it's also because it's something that I wasn't able to do when I was younger, both because I didn't have the money or my family didn't have the money, and because they didn't really have any mangas in Venezuela. Like it's an emerging market right now, and they're seeing more imports and things like that for the manga community, the anime community, the otaku community in Venezuela. But it didn't used to be like that like 15 years ago when I was a teenager in Venezuela. So the fact that I can say that it's 15 years ago, that is aging me ridiculously. Anyways, we're gonna go do that today, but because I want to make it interesting for you as well, we are going to be visiting all of the places that you could also, well, probably not visiting, but I'm going to be walking you through a route of touristic things that you can do in Buenos Aires on a weekend or on whatever day that you want, and they are basically free while we are on our way for me to buy more mangas. Yes, but before doing that, I really do need to go grab something to eat, or like I need to go to the kitchen and grab something to eat and then come back and eat it, because I always forget that I need to eat. Over the weekends, I realize it's not necessarily that working doesn't give me enough time to eat. That is true, but also I forget. I get so deep into doing something that I'm doing that I forget. So let me go grab something to eat and then probably come back, eat, and then we will leave. We will be going out. One thing that I kind of always hated and always will hate about winter is the fact that the days are so gray. The streets just look so sad, and it has its like charm, I guess, sometimes, but not most of the times. So whenever I leave during the winter, whenever I leave the house and it's also dark and gray, I just don't like it. Also, it's very cold, and I also don't like the cold. And there's
a slight change of plans. I thought that I was going to be able to go to the Japanese garden from my house and then to the manga shop, but it turns out that they're not really in the way. Like, they are really in opposite directions. So I would have had to go up to go to the Japanese garden and then down again to go to the manga shop. So I'm just gonna go straight to the manga shop, and the manga shop is right next to Chinatown, which is a touristic site. Not like, going to Chinatown is free, walking around Chinatown is free, but whatever you eat there is not free. So not necessarily a free thing to do, but still a nice thing to do, and that's what I'm gonna do. Something that's in my list, or a very prevalent thing that's in my list when it comes to free things that you can do here in the city, is going to the Kirchner Cultural Center and the Recoleta Cultural Center. I think that the recent government is planning to, or already changed the name of the Kirchner Cultural Center, which to me is ridiculous, because it's just like, it's a cultural center. Everybody's going to refer to it as the Kirchner Cultural Center. Nobody's going to change that. But anyways, going to museums and cultural centers in the city is one of those free activities that you can do every day or every weekend. And there's always going to be something to see, or there's always going to be something to do. One thing that I've said before that Buenos Aires is great at is promoting the cultural scene or the artistic scene. So you see a lot of art expos and music showings and things like that. So it's always free, and you will have a multitude of options going to a cultural center. Whatever cultural center you can think of, you will have really nice art expos, music expos, showings, whatever. And all of those have either an Instagram or website where they're going to go into more detail about, or on the different activities that they have going on at any given week or month. So definitely check those out. It's really nice, they're really pretty, and they're all free. Okay, the next thing that's on my list is visiting the nature or ecological reserve. I'm not really sure how to say it, but it's like the nature reserve that's in the city. Unlike many other big cities, or unlike many other countries, Buenos Aires Nature Reserve is right in the middle of Palermo, I think. Like, if you get off in the Palermo station, or if you get off in the Plaza Italia station of subway line D, you're gonna see the ecological reserve, or several different parks, not even just the ecological reserve, but a lot of different parks where you can just go in and see a few animals. I think that there's an elephant in the ecological reserve that they weren't able to relocate to like its natural habitat or something, because obviously when you have an animal in captivity for so long, like, there's no natural habitat for them to return to because they've been under captivity for so long. But you have several different parks that are just very pretty, and they are nice to spend an afternoon having a picnic, which is another one of my points on these lists, is just to kind of have a picnic out in one of the parks. If there's one thing that Buenos Aires is great at, it's at having a plethora of parks where you can go to and just have different sceneries and do different activities, either skating or riding a bicycle, or just having a yoga session or a Zumba class. You're gonna go to a park and you're gonna see a bunch of different activities. And a lot of the biggest parks are also equipped with ping pong tables and skating rinks and volleyball courts or football courts or basketball courts, any type. Like, they're very sporty in this city, and they will equip their parks for their citizens to have a free space, because all of this is free. You go to a park, and I think that maybe you probably need to make a reservation for the courts, but it's, to my understanding, it's all free. So you can just go to a park and tell your friends to go to a park with you, and you have a picnic, and then you play volleyball or you play basketball or you do something like that. So go to a park, visit the ecological reserve, see all the nice things that the city has to offer, and then also just have a picnic and like take advantage of the sports thingies. And that's it. And we're making it to the subway. So hot, so cold, so tired. manga shop. I don't usually go out with a backpack. And one thing that is true that you do need to be careful when you go out with a backpack in Buenos Aires and you get into the subway or things like that, is that you need to be aware that nobody like gets their hand in your backpack. So I was just checking that, and yeah, not the best thing. Love Buenos Aires, but like I've said before, it is just not perfect. You also should be kind of careful when you're walking around holding anything in your hand, because you don't know when anybody's gonna snatch it. Knock on wood, that's never happened to me. Although I don't have any wood close by unless you count the tree, which duh, but you get what I mean. In any case, 1 block away. Okay, I know I said that I was going to go to Chinatown, right? Because it's relatively close, but every time I go to Chinatown, I spend a lot of money. And also it's getting so dark already, and it's barely 2:45 p.m. So I really don't like the idea of staying out a lot longer, but I'll see if I can make myself go a little longer.
Precisamente me falta el gas. Pretty thing about the parks in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, is that you will always see like artisanal fairs and all those things. And it's Saturday, almost 3, and I'm pretty sure it feels like it's gonna rain, so I'm pretty sure everybody's already packing up. But this is one of the Belgrano parks, and this is what should have been one of those artisanal fairs earlier today. There are some stalls that are like you still see things, but pretty sure it's gonna rain and everybody's packing. Mates! You see a lot of mates. I've decided, for my own sake, because I don't want to get soaked in the rain, and all of the things that I have, not everything that I have on top of me is waterproof. Like the GoPro is waterproof, my phone is waterproof, watch is also waterproof. The camera, like my other camera that I have, not waterproof. The microphone's part of that camera, also not waterproof. So I've decided to go back home, and I'm not sure that it's gonna rain. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm just a little bit tired already, so let's finish this up back home. Or probably also tomorrow. Who says that I need to do this in one single day? ¿Qué tal? Bien, ¿y tú? No. So far, I have tried and failed to get volume 3 of the Apothecary Diaries manga. And that is an anime that I really loved last year. I think it came out last year, early this year, something like that. Point is that I really liked it. And it's been sold out 3 different places, and no, 2 different places. And now I am trying a 3rd place to see if I will find it. Although I doubt it. I don't think they have any of the books from the editorial that I'm looking for, which kind of sucks, I'm not gonna lie. I leave defeated, sad, and defeated, and sad. Oh my god, it started raining. Well, I
be able to get back home without getting soaked. Getting soaked.
Okay, so I am back home and we are going to finish this video of free or basically free things that you can do in Buenos Aires here at home instead of outside, because it started raining. And one thing that you do have to consider if you're going to be coming to Buenos Aires is how unpredictable the weather can be. It doesn't really rain that often compared to other cities in the world. Like, I was in Orlando literally 2 weeks ago, and my friend told me that it rains most of the days in the summer there, which is really just a bummer. And it's not like light rain. Like, this was light rain. I was able to walk back from the subway to my house, but it really wasn't that way back in Orlando. I'm gonna be putting some video here of me. I was at Disney with my friend and it started raining incredibly hard, and we knew that it was gonna rain. We considered taking an umbrella, but his umbrella was broken, or he didn't really have an umbrella at all. And we're like, oh, we should probably go to Dollar Tree and try to buy a poncho. And we just didn't do that because we were buying food. And then we went to Disney and it just started raining so hard. We were soaking wet. It was the worst part of the day. Like, I enjoyed actually a little bit being under the rain, but there were also like lightning things. I don't know. It was a sort of a lightning storm. I don't know. But you had to be careful because you could have been struck by lightning. So we were just dying to get home. We were just dying to get back to the car. But we were at Epcot and we had parked at Disney, like Hollywood Studios, and it was just an entire thing. So the rain doesn't tend to be as bad here. Like, very rarely does it rain so hard here, honestly. But on days like this, it's just very light rain and it's not that bad. But anyways, I didn't want to be out on the rain because I had things on me that I couldn't get wet. So I just came back. But on the way here, I bought some candles. I bought some scented candles, and this one is chocolate scented and it's very nice. I think it was just $5. And I bought this other candle, which is eucalipto, which I'm not really sure how you say this in English, but it's that one. And then I bought this other one from one of the little stands in the fair that is lavender. I kept meaning to buy candles because I used to have some candles and then they just kind of just ran out. It just smells so nice. Let's continue with the things. I talked about going to a park. I talked about going to the Japanese garden. I talked about going to a cultural center. Most of these things are all free, or they are relatively cheap. If you're a foreigner, I think they've started implementing like charging a few dollars here and there, not even a lot. Like, it could still be really cheap, like $5. They started implementing charging a little bit to the foreigners who go visit, but it's just a tiny little bit, and it really helps to maintain these spaces, and they are free for locals, which is something that I really consider as actually great, that you as a visitor are helping maintain the very cheap, very good spaces that you go visit, and that then the locals get the opportunity to just live there, right? And enjoy it. I personally don't mind it. Anywhere that I have been, of course, I've been a resident for 7 years. So when I go to these places, I'm a permanent resident, I don't have to pay. But whenever I travel to other countries, I pay for the historic touristic guides or whatever. So I think it's completely normal for tourists or visitors to pay for those things, honestly. And that the locals just get to enjoy the free commodities that their country offers them. So if you're a resident in any country, sure, but if you're a visitor, then just pay up a little bit. The next one on this list is not entirely free, but it is something that's on everybody's list either way, and that is going to Caminito. Going to Caminito and eating choripanes. And okay, the choripan that you're gonna order there is not free, you're gonna have to pay for it, but it is a really good choripan. Like, going to Caminito is something that I like to do at least once a year because it's a very nice picturesque type of, like, I think it's just 3 streets. I think that's just it. 3 blocks from 3 different streets, something like that. That's the touristic area, which I recommend that you don't leave the touristic area because the rest of La Boca can be very unsafe. And definitely don't go there walk-in. Use public transportation or taxi, but definitely don't go walk-in, especially not by yourself. Every time that I think about going to La Boca, I think about eating choripanes. Even though you also have some barbecue places that are very nice, you can also buy souvenirs and portraits and, like, I don't know, look at the tango shows. They have a lot of street singers there as well. It's just a very nice place. And it has historical value, if I remember correctly. It used to be a neighborhood where a lot of immigrants lived at some point. Now, the next one on this list is not free. You actually have to buy a ticket and pay to get in, but it is definitely worth it, especially if you are a fan of the theater. And that is visiting the Teatro Colón workshop, or the, I don't know if people have ever translated this name, honestly, the Colón Theater Workshop, but it's the workshop from El Teatro Colón. And that is basically like a storage, or the place where they build the entirety of the scenery for all of the plays that are in Teatro Colón. So they have a guided tour. You can actually go and look at all of the scenery from all of the plays that they've historically presented in the theater. If you don't know what Teatro Colón is, it's the most impressive theater in Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires is filled with theaters, but I think the one with the most historical value and the most impressive in the city is Teatro Colón. That's not a matter of opinion. I think it is just a statement of fact, and I just don't know the facts very properly. But look it up. I'm pretty sure that you're gonna find it. And you can go to the workshop, and they have a guided tour of all of the scenery from different plays that they've put up in the theater. And they give you small details about the material that is made, or that they used to make it, or how it works, if people could step on it or if they couldn't step on it, how it needs to be light so that they can transport it from the workshop to the actual theater. And you have all of these massive structures that are like super, super tall. They're like 3 stories tall, and they only weigh 50 kilograms. When I saw like a very big totem or something and they said, it just weighs 50 kilograms, I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot. 50 kilograms, it's a lot, right? But then I looked at my friend who was standing right next to me, who is 150, and it's like, she was very, very tiny compared to the totem that they were talking about. And it's like, oh wait, if she's that tiny and she weighs 50 kilograms, and that is that huge, and that weighs 50 kilograms, that is an impressive feat, honestly. And so they give you a lot of background and information about what goes into creating the background of a theater play in Teatro Colón. And they also tell you that you can touch everything. So I don't know if I have videos, but I went there with my friends and we were like touching everything, feeling the textures, taking pictures with all of the props. So it's a really nice experience overall. You get to learn things. It's relatively cheap, and you just enjoy your time learning all about the history of artistry here in Buenos Aires, which is very, very nice. I think that's gonna be all for today on basically free things to do in Buenos Aires when you are here every weekend or on a random day, on a random weekend. There is also a website or a government page that is what to do in the city this week. And you have like different activities that are sponsored by the city or that are noted by the city. And they tell you whether it's free or it's paid and how much you need to pay and what you need to do to make a reservation for those things. I'll try to link it below. If I forget to link it below, just let me know. The city of Buenos Aires itself has a lot of resources, a lot of very good resources to tell you what you can do during your days here in the city. And I personally want to try to take more advantage of these things, which is also why I sort of forced myself to go out of the house to film this video and do something different. After visiting Orlando and Fort Worth, I know that I am blessed to be in a city that gives me the opportunity to have these activities right here, and that I don't necessarily need to have a car and I don't need to drive 1 or 2 hours to get to these things. I just take the bus for 20 minutes and I'm right there, and I do not have to pay gas or drive or anything like that. And I hope that this video sort of encourages you to try different things, to get out of your apartment if you're here in the city, if you're here in Buenos Aires, and just enjoy the things the city has to offer, because it has a lot. Anyways, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'm gonna leave something else over here to sort of like choose what to watch or whatever. Love you. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.